You know that feeling, right? Someone asks you for something and your brain is just screaming no, but you hear yourself saying yes. Yeah, we've all been there. Today, we're going to take that little two-letter word, no, and turn it from something that gives you anxiety into your most powerful tool. A tool for focus, for integrity, and honestly, for success. So let's figure out how to make no our new superpower.
So take a look at your calendar. Does it look like a game of Tetris that's just completely out of control? Is your to-do list something you dread even looking at? Well, that feeling of being completely overwhelmed, it usually boils down to one simple thing. We just can't say no. We say yes to extra projects, those last-minute requests, even social stuff we'd really rather skip, all because yes just feels easier in the moment. But is it, really?
We've all been in that exact spot, haven't we? Your mind is yelling no, but your mouth says yes. And look, this isn't some kind of personal failing. It's not just you. It's actually deeply human. We're wired to be social, to cooperate. But, and this is a big but, always agreeing has a hidden cost. And believe me, it's a high one.
Okay, let's really dig into that cost. What actually happens when yes is just our automatic answer? The fallout is way bigger than just having a packed schedule. It hits our well-being, the quality of our work, and yeah, even the integrity of the companies we work for.
So why is it so incredibly hard to just say no? Well, a few things are going on here. First off, there's the whole culture of cooperation, right? We don't want to be seen as a bad team player, or worse, just unlikable. Then you've got good old FOMO, that fear of missing out on some amazing opportunity. And, at work, the incentives can be totally out of whack. We get rewarded for being busy and visible, not necessarily for doing deep, meaningful work.
And look, the numbers here really don't lie. There was a study on what happens when we get interrupted all the time, which, let's be honest, happens when we don't set boundaries with a no. And the psychological price is steep. When you're constantly pulled off task, your stress levels shoot up by 37%. Frustration, that goes up 40%. And everything just feels harder. Perceived effort jumps by over 20%. That's literally the difference between a great productive day and one of those days where you feel busy but get absolutely nothing done.
And this damage isn't just happening to us as individuals. Experts like William Ury, who wrote a fantastic book called The Power of a Positive No, make it really clear. A culture where no one feels like they can say no is a recipe for disaster on an organizational level. When people are afraid to push back, bad ideas just sail through, and really unethical stuff can start to grow.
And believe me, this is not just some abstract theoretical problem. Think about the Wells Fargo scandal. Employees were opening up millions of fake accounts. Or the Volkswagen emissions crisis. Both of those disasters were fueled by a culture where people just couldn't say no to some really aggressive and unethical demands from the top. Not being able to say that essential no cost these companies billions of dollars and, maybe worse, completely destroyed public trust.
Okay, so enough about the problem, right? How do we actually fix this? This is where things get really interesting. We're going to reframe the word no. It's not about rejection, it's about affirmation. It's time to talk about the positive no.
So this idea, which comes from that negotiation expert William Ury I mentioned, is a total game changer. A positive no is not about slamming a door in someone's face. Not at all. It's a no that's actually built on a foundation of a much deeper yes. It's a way of saying, hey, I'm not rejecting you, I'm protecting a core value, or a promise I already made, or frankly, my own sanity.
And what's cool is that this same idea works for whole companies. It's called empowered refusal. This is when saying no isn't just allowed, it's a strategic move to protect the company's entire mission. It means having the guts to turn down projects, no matter how tempting they seem, if they don't line up with what the organization is all about.
The author Greg McKeown absolutely nails this philosophy in his book Essentialism. It's all about the disciplined pursuit of less, but better. Basically, it means you have to strategically say no to all the trivial stuff, all the noise, so you can pour all your energy into the few things that are truly essential. It's about making a choice about where you can have the biggest impact.
All right, so this philosophy is powerful. I get it. But how do we actually do it in the real world? Let's get super practical. There's a really simple 3-step method you can use to deliver a positive no that's both graceful and strong.
It's called the yes-no-yes formula. Super simple, easy to remember, and it works like a charm. You start with a yes, then you state your no, and you end with a different yes. Let's walk through it.
Okay, step 1. You start by grounding your no in a bigger yes. So before you actually say the word no, you state what you are committed to. For instance, instead of just blurting out, I can't help with your project, you start with something like,
My main focus right now is making sure I deliver the Q3 report on time for our team. That's your yes.
Step 2. Now that you've anchored it, you can deliver the no. So, following that same example, you'd say, and because of that, I won't be able to take on this new project right now. That's your no. The key here, and this is super important, is the tone. It's just a fact. It's neutral, you're just stating your capacity, not launching a personal attack.
And finally, step 3. This is what really saves the relationship. You offer up an alternative yes. So you might say, but how about you check in with Sarah? I think she has some bandwidth. Or, hey, I could take a quick look at your proposal next week after my report is finished. That's your new yes. See what you did there? You protected your boundary, but you were still collaborative and helpful.
So now, let's scale this up. Let's see how this whole framework looks when it's put to work across an entire organization. Because when a company really gets good at saying no in the right way, it can build a culture that is incredibly strong and laser-focused on its purpose.
So, there are basically 3 big types of no that you see in really healthy organizations. First is the essential no. This is all about stopping mission drift. It's rejecting anything that just doesn't fit the company's core purpose. Then there's the exemplifying no. This is when a leader makes a big, bold no that shows everyone, hey, we're serious about our values. It's super inspiring. And finally, you have the enabling no, which might be the most powerful. This is about creating a culture where everyone feels empowered to say no to things that don't align with the mission.
And again, this isn't just textbook stuff. We see this in the real world. A perfect example of an exemplifying no, when Indra Nooyi was the CEO of Pepsi, she killed a huge product launch way late in the process simply because it didn't align with their new focus on health. Talk about a powerful message. For an enabling no, look at Toyota's legendary stop the line policy. Any worker on the assembly line can halt all of production if they spot a quality issue. And maybe the most wild example of an enabling no, Patagonia running an ad that literally said, "Don't buy this jacket." They were empowering their customers to say no to consumerism, and in doing so, they built this fiercely loyal community.
So if there's one thing to really walk away with today, it's this idea. A positive no is not a sword you use to attack people. It's a shield. It's a shield you use to protect your time, your energy, your values, your purpose. It's what lets you build stronger relationships and do work that actually matters, because you're guarding the things that are most important.
So as we finish up here, I want to leave you with a question to chew on. Just take a second and think about your biggest goals, what you really value, your own well-being. What's the one no you need to say this week so that you can finally give a bigger, more powerful yes to what's truly essential for you?